All right, we all have goals. Whether it's personal, financial, or business related, we have these goals so that we can get better. There are so many achievements and milestones that we so desperately want to hit. Yet, so often, we fall short. I have news. What if I told you that there was a way to achieve a lot of the things that you want to do in a more effective way, in an easier way, and by working less? If that sounds interesting to you, then let's keep talking. And this method is not witchcraft, it's not wizardry, it is the 12-week year. So this is a book that I just finished reading a couple of days ago. I really liked what it was having to say, and I think it is going to be very practical, which is why in this video, it is going to be perfect for anyone who is new to setting goals or new to the 12-week year method to see exactly how I'm going to do it and applying it over the next 12 weeks. I'm even going to tell you guys my specific goal and break down what exact actions I'm going to take so you guys have the ultimate blueprint guide so that by the end of this video, you know exactly how to set up your own goals in a way that makes sense and is not scary. Because often I feel like setting goals is so wishy-washy because it's hard to pick a metric and a lot of it's really subjective. But as I take you through my thought process and the things I write down, it's going to alleviate all of this stress from you. So let's get started into what exactly the 12-week year is. The 12-week year by Brian P. Moran, as the title suggests, is about how to set goals that you will achieve in the next 3 months. And the whole idea is instead of setting something such as a New Year's resolution in which the timeline is simply too long, you're condensing it down into a 3-month stretch where every single week matters to your success. Traditional annual New Year's plans, I'm sure many of you have tried to do this before. I have too, which is what brought me to this book. Those traditional plans simply have too much time, allowing someone to lag off and essentially think that there is all of these infinite time, and then by the time you hit October, November, December, you are out of time and it's too late. And this leaves you feeling really discouraged and as if you did nothing in an entire year. And by compressing that time frame, we create a sense of urgency and focus. And while your goal for this 12-week year might be slightly smaller than you would have for a traditional annual goal, keep in mind that there are 52 weeks in a year, and so you have time for 4 years in one calendar year, as in breaking down each month into a week based on the 12-week year. If that sounded a little confusing, don't worry, we're gonna walk through it in a second. There's a lot of other stuff that the 12-week year talks about in terms of how specific you need to get with your goals, but we're just gonna actually hop right into the application of this so that you guys can kind of see a beginner doing it for the first time, so it'll give you guys confidence to then take on your own 12-week year. Reports all over the internet claim that the 12-week year leads to higher productivity, clearer goals, and motivation boosts. So now that we know what the 12-week year is in a gist and essentially what its benefits are, let's go into actually making a plan. So going in as a total beginner to implementing this system, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but I think the best place to start is just going to be to pick one goal. The book says you can implement anywhere from 1 to 3 goals. It says if you have a financial or a fitness and then a personal outside of that, you can do that. But for a total beginner, I think it would be best if I start with just one goal. And you guys don't have to do just one. You can do 2 or 3 if you want as well, but I think you're gonna have the higher likelihood of succeeding if you stick with just one goal. And the goal that I want to go for is going to be based around this YouTube channel you guys are watching right now. For those of you new to the channel, hi, my name's Josh. I make a lot of different types of videos and I have a lot of goals, and I'm pretty serious about turning this channel into something that can actually fund a lifestyle. And I'm gonna start from there, thinking about something that I want to achieve in the future, and then I'm gonna try and get more specific. But let's take some time. I'm gonna write down some goals I have, and then we'll come back. So that only took about 5 minutes because all I had to do was define a goal. And the nice thing about the 12-week year is that it's only 12 weeks, right? It's only going to be a 3-month time span. So if the goal that I want to achieve is not something absolutely insane, that's okay, because you can still have 3 more goals in any given year and you're still gonna be so much further, even if this goal you perceive to be a little bit smaller in scope than what a typical annual goal would be. But as you can see, I mean, very basic. My handwriting is horrible, so I'm not gonna hold that up there too long, but I just wrote down a couple lines about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be, and it was very simple. So the things I narrowed it down to for this YouTube channel as far as making it monetizable and creating income off of this channel was either achieving 1,000 subscribers, which I'm sure many of you know that's kind of the threshold to get ad revenue. And then I wrote down a list of just about 2 or 3 other ones on that, but what I want to go for and what my 12-week goal is going to be is to obtain a sponsorship on this channel. So this goal is kind of shooting for the moon, to be completely honest with you. As I currently make this video, I have 381 subscribers, not a big channel by any means, not even at the level of micro influencer or micro YouTube channel. We are in the very, very early stages of this channel. And as a result, it's going to be difficult to get a sponsorship, but I'm gonna take the approach that if I can write out actionable weekly lists of things that I need to do, I can achieve it by the end of this 12-week period. So that is step 1 out of the way of the 12-week year. As you guys can see, very painless. All you have to do is pick something. It doesn't matter what it is. Pick a goal and something you want to get better at. And then now we're gonna move over to my computer to actually start to get detailed about how we're going to achieve this goal. All right, so we are over on my computer. Do not get freaked out at this Excel sheet. I promise you it's going to make sense. And in fact, I'm actually going to link this in the description so that you guys can use this template and follow along right with me as I fill this out. And so let me explain essentially what this is. So up here, you're gonna put whatever goal it is. If you only have one goal, you're gonna fill in whatever that is there. If you have other goals, you can simply just create more space. If you wanna add a new little sheet, you can do that. But yeah, write in your goals right up here. And then down here, as you can see, this is where we actually are going to format how we're gonna achieve this goal up there. And so these tactics are very subjective, but I would do a lot of research based on what you think you need to do. So if it is something like you want to lose 10 pounds over the course of 3 months or 20 pounds, then I would look up calorie deficits, look up what type of training you need to be doing. For something like that, I would probably recommend a 200 to 500 calorie deficit. So if you were doing something like that, you could write that in. And then strength training, cardio. There are a lot of examples in the 12-week year book that actually talk about that. I'm gonna link that in the description if you feel like the book is necessary for you to follow along. I think it's going to be a great tool, but again, by watching this video, you'll still have all of the basic ideas behind the 12-week year. But the first tactic I want to write down is sending out cold emails to companies. So since my channel is currently at the micro stage, its infancy still, the exposure is at an all-time low. And if I don't tell people about the channel, no one is going to find it. Okay, so the first task I wrote down was to cold email 3 companies, and I'm going to make this do every week. And this is the frequency at which you want to be doing this task. And keep in mind, this is technically considered week 1. So this is week 1, and I have my first task to be cold email 3 companies. We're gonna have this begin on week 1 here, and it'll end on week 12. So for this, something like this, you might ask, why do you have to do this? But you may want to do periodic updates to your goal. Let's say maybe on week 4 or week 6 or week 8, you might want to have a checkup and see if you need to readjust your goal settings. So you could have something like that, which you only do once. And this completed right here will be for at the end of the week, or as I do it, you'll simply type in a yes or a no, and that way you can keep track of what exactly you are doing each week, and you'll have a good gauge on what you're completing. And the book generally states that if you can complete 80% of your tasks every single week, you are well on your way to achieving that goal. So maybe cold emailing 3 companies is a little too low to start out with, but I think it is still going to be a great place, and then I'll readjust. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all in flux, like these goals can change. I think it'd also be a good idea to reach out to other small influencers through email or through Instagram about how they got their first sponsorship, whether they were approached or whether they were doing cold emailing. So I'm also going to put in here to contact one other content creator every single week just to figure out basic things like what their rates were, if they'll share that information. I think it's at least worth a shot to reach out and contact people. If nothing else, it's a good networking opportunity. And I think the final task I'm going to have done on every single week is actually uploading a video. So I have been going consistently for almost 5 or 6 months now on a weekly upload every week. I don't plan to stop that. So I'm going to say that I need to upload at least once a week on my long form content to help build my brand. So now that I have the week 1 done, I'm going to copy down and make adjustments for the next 11 weeks, plan it all out right now, and I will be right back. I just finished my entire 12-week layout that took less than 10 minutes, and I'm going to leave this in the description for you guys. So if you guys have a Google account, which you all do if you're watching this video, you can literally just open this up. You can even do it on your phone, and all you have to do is fill in what your goal is and what you want to complete for that week. As you can see, I have pretty much the same thing every single week, barring week 6. I have a goal checkup, which I would highly recommend. The book definitely recommends to do this, just to see if by the time I'm halfway through this, do I need to adjust anything? There's nothing wrong if you have to change your goal and adjust if something's just not realistic, or maybe you already completed that goal and you want to go even further. This is a great time to look at that and change things up. Ultimately, the 12-week year breaks down into 3 simple steps. Step 1, choose a goal. As you saw just a couple minutes ago, it takes absolutely no time to do this. You simply pick something that you want to do. And then step 2 is to create actionable steps. And that is what I just did on that Google Sheets. As you can see, they are very specific, measurable, tangible items. You don't just want to have something that is super vague and abstract, because there's going to be no way to measure against yourself whether you actually did or did not achieve what you set out to do for that week. And then step 3, the most obvious but also the hardest thing about this entire goal setting process is executing on your plan. And that is what I'm going to be doing for the next 12 weeks. Now the plan is established. I literally did it on camera with you guys. Took about 20 minutes. And now for the next 12 weeks, I know exactly what I need to do to try and reach my goals. And now I want to touch on why exactly did I say to cold email 3 companies and reach out to a creator? Well, these metrics simply make sense in my head. I figure if I take enough companies every single week that are relevant to what I'm doing, then I think I can at least get a response. And that's why I have that 6-week adjustment checkup, because maybe if the companies aren't responding well, I can then adjust. Maybe I need to reach out to more companies. Maybe I need to alter the long form content I'm putting out. That's going to be a great opportunity to check up for that. The last little piece I want to touch on is that this book talks about how it's really helpful to tell people about your goals and have an accountability partner that you meet with at least once a week. So in my case, I'm actually going to be doing this over on my Patreon. I just set it up. I'm going to be giving updates on it over there, so feel free to check that out if you want to see how my weekly track is going. But I'm also going to be creating a second video of this just 12 weeks from now, and where I do my updates, and you guys will be able to see exactly what happens with me. So feel free to definitely follow and check out that video when it comes out, because it's not that far away. And for those who have made it this far, you're clearly interested. So I would say that in addition to the Excel sheet I'm about to provide, I would probably buy the book as well, because I think it will help fill in some of the cracks that I may have missed on this. You can feel free to check it out in the description or get it at your local bookstore. It is a very popular book. It's been well researched. Came out about 10 years ago, so it's pretty established in most places. I'm sure you can find it anywhere. Once you've read it, make sure to come back. You can check out this video, and I'm sure everything that I'm doing will make a lot more sense. Ultimately, I think this is going to be a great test over the next 12 weeks to see how this goal setting method works. A very experimental type video, that's not nothing set in stone yet, but I am confident that if we can stick to this plan, we are going to get a lot of great stuff done. How I'm personally going to be tracking my plan is through the spreadsheet and also a time blocking app. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use yet. If I find something interesting, I'll make sure to link it in the description or update on my community posts where you guys can then check on that. But again, you'll need to be subscribed to see that. Don't leave it up to the algorithm to show you that. I'm done rambling. We made our plan. Now let's go execute. If you've used the 12-week year before or a different goal setting method, I'm always interested in hearing about that. So make sure to comment about what you think about this method, or another one that you find. If you found it useful, if I'm showing you something new, or if you like the transparency, consider liking. Or if you want to hear me talk about some other books, make sure to click on this video right here where I give some of my favorite recommendations on books I've read this year. That is all I've got for you guys. Thanks, y'all.